Hey sightseers, Sightseeing Sally here. We're in Oklahoma, making our way through, just passing on by, and just happened to have stumbled upon this little town out in the middle of nowhere known as Jet. That's the town's name, it's Jet. But what's interesting about Jet is, besides the fact that it's just a little small town, is that it is basically the gateway to one of Oklahoma's most amazing sights ever, the Great Plains National Wildlife Refuge. In a little bit, we'll take you over there, but first, I'll show you around this little town. If you're wondering why this little town is called Jet, I believe we can find the answer here on the outskirts of town. You can see behind me is a jet from the Air Force. Not too far from here is an Air Force field. And if I had to wager a guess, that probably plays into why the town is named as it is. But you know what they always say about assuming. And I see some signs here. Why don't we go check those out? Maybe those can help us answer the question, the mystery of why Jet is named what it is. According to this first sign, the original town site was established in 1893. Then a second town site was established in 1895. And the present day town site established in 1906. Sounds like there have been 3 attempts to establish a town here. I wonder why. Looking at this sign, I don't think we're going to find out the answer to that here. Why don't we move on to the second sign? I just love mysteries, don't you? I know some people might be complaining like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. That's because we just stumbled upon this town and unexpectedly and had no time to do any major research, so we're just kind of going with the flow here, checking things out. The second sign says the original town site of Jet, Oklahoma was located approximately 2 miles east of the present day town. And it looks like it was a pretty nice town back then. Let's see what this third sign says. All it says is Jet, Oklahoma. Doesn't look like we're going to solve the mystery here. Let's move on to the fourth sign. This one is showing some of the old buildings, it appears, that were in town. Look at that. Looks like they had a hotel here. And then the school, present day Timberlake East. So they have a school here. But still no answer as to what happened, that they had 3 attempts at making a town. Let's see what this final sign says. Look at that. It's showing pioneers crossing the Salt Fork run of 1893. Looks like it's going to be one of those wah, wah, wah moments for the mystery that we uncovered here. Maybe later in the video we'll be able to answer the question as to how Jet came to be and what caused it to have 3 different iterations of it. But moving on. For now, we're going to go with, we have no idea. We're just enjoying exploring this little forgotten Oklahoma town. The sunset is amazing, by the way. You can see they have a little gas station here. And then this here is Main Street, running right on through the center of town. Look, somebody's got a sense of humor by the old co-op sign in a most rather inappropriate way. Be mine. Hey! We'll just pretend like we didn't see that. Wonder what this building was. It says Manufacturing Corp. Jet made products for travel-minded people the world over. I wonder what kind of products they were making here. Or if they really were, if that's just somebody else's sense of humor. You can see up ahead they have the Jet State Bank, where it shows the temperature currently 73 degrees. I'll take that. You can see across the street they have this building here which says Yoder Gas Company. And then there's the water tower showing town of Jet. And then the two very large grain silos overlooking the town. Here's a really nice view of the bank looking down the street. Obviously that's west. You can see the sun setting or getting ready to set. It's pretty quiet out here. Not a lot of traffic at this time of night. You can basically walk down the middle of Main Street and not be disrupted by traffic. You see over on this corner they have the Jet Cedar Citizens Center, their City Hall, an empty building here, and this one that says Jet Y Store Printing Services, established in 1904. So there's an indicator about the town. We know from this sign that it's been around at least since 1904. According to online sources, the town got its start in the early to mid 1890s when 6 bachelor brothers, who had the last name Jet, spelled with 2 T's, put up some buildings and opened a store. In 1894, the town received its postal designation and by 1900 was incorporated from part of Saline Township. Later in 1905, the Frisco Townsite Company of the Denver, Enid, and Gulf Railroad surveyed a new town site for Jet 2 miles west of the original town. When January 1906 arrived, the moving of the businesses and homes to the new town site was said to be in full blast. Today, the town has a population of 202, roughly the same size as it was in 1907. You can see they still have a post office here, and then this building, I'm not really sure what it is. You can see that Marty's got our truck parked right there. We'll take a look when I head over to the truck. In front of me is what used to be Marlene's Mini Curl. You could get perms, haircuts, color, and even Mary Kay. Mary Kay, that's something you don't hear too often anymore, though there are people still out there selling it. I know because I had some years ago, back when I was still working in the nuclear industry, had signed up to win a free Mary Kay party, and then I had purchased some Mary Kay products from a woman who was selling in the area, and I believe to this day she's still selling, and she was huge into it, and I know she had gotten a number of major perks from being a very high volume seller. Not to babble on about Mary Kay. I just found it interesting. And then you've got this building over here with, you can see the granary silos standing behind it. You can hear somebody working in the background over here. Other than the traffic, I imagine it is a quiet sort of town. Obviously in this area they're doing a lot of farming and cattle raising. Not exactly the type of place you would imagine to be the gateway to one of Oklahoma's most amazing sights. I believe they consider it to be one of their natural wonders, one of their greatest natural wonders. Speaking of which, why don't we head there now, go check it out, so you can see what that most amazing sight looks like. One got out.
He's doing a Leo.
Is he?
He's cranking his ears around like Leo does.
Looks a little crabby. Poor guy. Wants to be back with his friends. We made it. Ooh. To one of the most amazing sights here in Oklahoma. The Great Salt Plains. For those who don't know, years ago, okay, not years ago, probably millions of years ago, there was an ocean that covered this portion of Oklahoma, and when the waters receded, evaporated, it left behind a great salt plain. I just realized Marty's not behind me. Let's hold up a minute and find out what's going on. Hey, aren't you coming?
You gotta check this out.
Alright, I'll be right down. What's the holdup? Why aren't you coming up?
Well, apparently they say that they used to test bombing and chemical agents here, or mock chemical agents, and they're in these glass vials. And they say that if you find them, these training sets were not designed to be lethal. But then you start reading farther down and it says stuff about this encouraged people who may have collected these vials or military munitions as assault plots to notify their local law enforcement agencies so they can be safely recovered and destroyed. Now wait a minute, it says here that these training sets were not designed to be lethal. So why are they contradicting themselves? Then again, it's the government. They've always been honest. We all know that. These training sets were not designed to be lethal. Allegedly.
Well, doesn't that shed a whole new light on this?
Again, you always got to pay attention to the small print. And where's the small print? At the bottom, telling you to call the police if you find any of this stuff. So that tells me that they ain't telling the truth.
I wonder if that has any bearing on why they only allow the digging go on certain months out of the year.
Well, don't stop people. We just watched a guy teaching his kid to steal this stuff during the off season, and they just went back out for more.
Yeah, we didn't film that just because I didn't want to put them on blast, but Marty's speaking the truth on that. And actually, we're going to go up on top of the observation deck. You may even see little people out there because they're so far out they look about this big. Now that we got sidetracked by all that drama, where was I? Oh yeah, talking about the great salt plains that are here. As I was saying, they were formed millions of years ago by an old ocean that was here. Now the area is considered protected as part of a national wildlife refuge. Apparently this time of the year, during the winter months, birds, particularly cranes, come out and nest and do whatever they do when they're hanging out here, which is why you're not supposed to be accessing the flats this time of year. We're actually about 36 days off from the opening, which is April 1st. And there it is, the great salt plains that encompasses this whole area here. There's a lake farther out. If we get a chance on our way back, we'll stop and check it out. If you're wondering what that noise is in the background, it's nothing I can do anything about. It's an oil rig that's running. Kind of detracts from the peacefulness of what you would expect a wildlife refuge to be. I don't know why.
Yeah, but they got signs that you shouldn't fly drones around here because of the noise might harass the animals.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense, does it? Whatsoever. Kind of like that sign with the government.
It's like Death Valley. You can't fly drones in Death Valley, but if you've been there when the jets come through, it just thunders through that whole valley. And then poor little fish that are in that pond that are there that they're protected are scattering like crazy when them jets go through. Not that I say you should be able to fly drones, but I mean, some of this don't make any sense.
Anyways, this is one of Oklahoma's greatest wonders. Just a few miles outside of the little town called Jet. As promised, we made it to the lake. We're up on top. You can see off in the distance a very faint shimmer of white That's where the salt flats are, where we were last night. Here, let me put up a map for your reference so you can see where everything is in relation to one another. About half as salty as the ocean, the Lake of the Great Salt Plains is man-made and was created by the Army Corps of Engineers when they built a dam to address flooding on the Salt Fork of the Arkansas River. Bordered by the salt plains and accented with red shale bluffs, you'll find the views here to be surreal. I imagine on a day when the sun is shining and the skies are bright blue, it's an amazing sight to behold. But even on a day like today where the skies are a bit overcast, you can still see the red of the cliff faces over there, a small sliver of dark blue there, and of course the shimmer of the white salt flats in the background. Amazing. Truly one of Oklahoma's wonders. Recently, however, due to droughts and other factors, salinity levels of the lake have increased, while water levels have decreased. According to one source, if no corrective actions are taken to address this growing issue, the lake will eventually reach a point where it can no longer support life within its ecosystem. Much like what happened to the Salton Sea in California.